Hello everyone, this is Life Expectancy bringing you the first Corbett Gaming Achievement walkthrough in a very long time. This is a full playthrough of Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, on Leben difficulty. Now, I will say before going any further into this video that this is not an attempt to recreate the wheel. I am using, for the most part, almost the identical route that Falcon uses in his video, with just a couple minor differences. And there's a lot of videos out there, but a lot of them do several different out-of-map glitches, and or they do a speed path through a couple of parts of Venus. And I prefer not to take those routes just because one little mistake can lead to death, and having to restart a Leben run over after getting 2 hours or more into it can be really frustrating. So you'll see me do a couple of different things other than a couple things different than Falcon and some of the other guys that have done videos. And I only do the out-of-map glitch for the Section F revisit. I don't do the out-of-map glitch to change the conveyor belt portion in Venus, nor do I do the out-of-map glitch on the Manhattan bunker, and I don't do the Battle Walker climb on the outdoor section of Venus either. I just feel that the route that I take is generally safer, although I do have a couple of extremely close calls near the end of this run. Very, very nearly die twice on the final mission right before the final fight, but that's more due to carelessness on my part than due to the path that I take, and I will point those out as we go along. So the vast majority of this should be self-explanatory. You're going to see me take just a very fundamental path through the game. I'm not going to narrate every minute for the next 2.5 hours. I don't feel that that's necessary. I think most people watching these videos are just kind of looking for the path you take. Everyone knows how to lean. I don't need to say lean against this corner or lean out with the left bumper, you know, kill this enemy, do this, do that, use this weapon. That's all pretty self-explanatory, and everyone's going to have their own play style. This video is primarily just to show the path that I personally take through the game that has led to now 4 successful Leben completions in less than a week. I finished it on my main gamer tag, did it a second time on my wife's gamer tag to test my route and see how consistent it was, did it a third time for practice, and then did a 4th time to record this video. So with that being said, please enjoy the video, and I will pop back in here and there just to point out a couple of key differences that I think my video does that some others don't do. One thing I will go ahead and point out now is that you will notice throughout this playthrough that I do focus on trying to keep my health overcharged as often as possible. I also go for a lot of environmental kills in this first mission. You'll see that I just got the first level of the perk for getting 10 environmental kills. The environmental kills perk will reduce the amount of damage you take from explosives, so you know that can actually save your bacon if an enemy sets off a propane tank or something near you unexpectedly. You know, on Leben you're probably going to die if you're very close to them, but if you're just outside of the radius of guaranteed death, that reduced damage can make the difference between living and dying. And I actually think on this run at the end of the last mission, at least one of the 2 times that I nearly died, I probably would have died had it not been for that environmental kills perk. I think it actually saved my bacon near the end of this run. So always try to dual wield weapons when you're killing. You want to get as many dual wield kills as possible through your run so that you have increased ammo reserves. And then of course headshot kills will increase your damage when aiming down sights. Environmental explosives or environmental kills will reduce the amount of damage that you take from explosions, grenades, and whatnot. And you know, just a few things to point out there. So you'll notice perks popping up as I play through the game, and the ones I mainly focus on are the environmental kills, headshot kills, dual wield kills, and the overcharge kills, having my health overcharged so that my health degrades slower when it's going down. Granted, later I'll have the battle walker so my health won't deteriorate, but if you take a hit and you're running around for a minute before you get another kill to stop the deterioration, then that deterioration will occur more slowly if you have those overcharge kills perks from early in the game. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you shortly for other spots in the video that I need to point out.
William, are you all right?
Let's go! Sit up! All right, Blasco. Out on in that. Locate the controller bay and release our U-boat.
I'm sorry about your...
Fergus. Gotta respect a guy who can lose his arm and soldier on like it's nothing. A lot of things you can do with a hatchet. Nazi. Caroline, you copy? Before you go upstairs, please watch over our people while I get this done. Like they taught us back in boot camp. Take out the commanders first.
Kommandant! Hallo! Kommandant Mannheimer! Hören Sie mich? Scheiße!
Was? Automated security system. Got myself a new exit.
Achtung, Explosion in der Hangarbucht. Sicherheitspersonal im Bereich unverzüglich untersuchen. Wiederhole, Explosion in der Hangarbucht. Sicherheitspersonal im Bereich unverzüglich untersuchen.
Negativ.
All right, so this first commander room, well, second technically because we had the room with two commanders. This first commander room that I want to actually point out is one place where I feel like it's easier to do things a bit differently. What you'll see me do here is throw a few grenades around the corner. About 50-50. Sometimes I'll kill the commander with them, sometimes I won't. That time I did. But I still go ahead and show you the route that I take if I don't kill the commander. And this route is completely safe. There's only one enemy up that first set of stairs, so you don't even have to try to throw the grenades at the commander. You can just come up those stairs, shoot that one enemy, which will set off the alarm and alert the commander. But then you drop down like I did right there, and you'll drop in behind the commander. Shoot him real quick, turn around, go down the ramp, and kill those two guys. That's a way to completely bypass that room so that you don't have to worry about sitting there and taking cover behind the wall and killing all the enemy reinforcements after you set off the alarm with the commander.
I hate to ask. You stick around so I can keep your wings a little longer.
Alright, something that I want to point out here in this next room, everything about this game, the enemy positioning, is all based on timing. Each time you enter an area where something spawns, like for instance when you first enter this area, those two commanders spawn, the one right there that I just killed and the other one up ahead, they spawn at a specific point when you enter the area or after a certain trigger happens. That being said, everything about the route that you take through the game is based on timing. So if you follow the exact route that I take and you do it at the exact speed with which I do it, then the enemies should all be in the exact same locations 99% of the time. There's extremely rare instances where that might not be the case if an enemy has two possible paths that it can take. One in particular, in Manhattan near the harbor, there's an enemy that can either come toward you or walk away at a certain point. So situations like that, you have to kind of play by ear and have two different paths or two different ways that you might handle a situation, but those situations are extremely rare. For the most part, the enemy pathing is all based on timing from the time they spawn. So they will spawn in a certain spot, they will walk a certain path, and depending on how fast you go through an area, you will meet different enemies at different points based on that timing. Now, that being said, if you set off an alarm, if you alert a commander, or let's say you try to headshot an enemy, there's one enemy in the Manhattan ruins that if you don't hit him with your headshot, he sends all the other enemies on alert. So even though he doesn't actually set off an alarm, the commander doesn't turn red and start calling for reinforcements, the enemies in the area do alter their path if you miss your headshot on him. So doing what I do in this video, you should have nearly the same results as long as you do exactly as I do. If for some reason you shoot an enemy and set off an alarm, or you alert an enemy and the enemies go on patrol or something like that, then at that point all bets are off, and it's best to just find, get used to the layout of the levels and know of safe spots and choke points where you can hide and wait for all of the reinforcements to come funneling to you, so that you can just take them out as they funnel to you. The enemy spawns are limited, they are not infinite. So worst case scenario, as long as you have a safe spot to retreat to and funnel the enemies, you can go through the vast majority of the game simply by hunkering down and killing everything as it approaches you. But if you want to go quickly through the missions and do the routes that might be faster, then it is crucial that you actually follow the same path and strategies and kill the enemies in the same manner that I do in this video if you want to have more or less the same results that I have in this video.
Section F just looks like a little laundry room. We looked for it when we first searched the U-boat after you captured it, but we didn't see the entrance door. And with all the things we were worrying about back then, I suppose we didn't bother looking too closely. But now I've re-examined the floor plan and there's a reference to a completely different document. The engineering map of Section F. I'll report back as soon as I find it.
Warum sollte er auch nach so langer Zeit? Ist bestimmt...
Johann! Mein Gott, er ist es! Beschütze Kommandant Fischer!
Ja, Bruder!
William, I found the engineering map. Ballast tank, nuclear warhead stockpile. Oh my god. Section F stretches along the entire hull of the U-boat and we're on the biggest U-boat in the world, so this section is gigantic. Some of it must serve as a main ballast tank or something because it's a massive volume. Be careful, William. No telling how many Nazis could be hiding in there. William, those Nazis have been surviving in there ever since you captured the U-boat 5 months ago. They must be starving and desperate. Stay safe, darling.
Warum? Die Terroristen sind ihre Gehirne sind ziemlich klein, das ist so wie Tennisbälle. Das war eine ernst gemeinte Frage. Erstens sind die Gänge schalldicht und wir waren ziemlich
Caroline, don't think I'm gonna make it. A few more weeks, maybe. With your grace.
Da wird einem ja schlecht.
Thank you, William. The Ausmerzer is losing track of us now. Find your way back to the locker room. Bombate will let you out of there.
as well as I do. What I got, he can't cure. Gonna make me chase you, ain't you? Seth's gotta be more careful with his experiments.
You're back, Shimshon. How was my shooting range?
Well done, you guys.
This is a good home for us, Caroline. You always made the right call.
William. I can still smell her in here.
Look for her in Caroline's room. Yeah, what we're gonna...
Men, women, children. Not screaming no more. But I can still hear you.
Yeah, Blasco. Find your way through the bombed out city and reach the state building. Faster the better. Fergus out.
Ich erwarte regelmäßige Statusberichte. Melden Sie mir alle Anzeichen verdächtiger...
Again, just to point out, this is one of the spots that I mentioned. This enemy around the corner to the right can either walk toward you, as he does in my video there, or he can walk the other direction. So what I always do is I just look at that corner, and if I see him within a second or two, then I will headshot him. If I don't see him, then I know he's going the other direction, and I just go ahead and move on to look down this staircase on this side, where the enemy can either be below where you saw me shoot him at the base of the stairs, or he can be around the corner. And that's one instance where each of those two enemies has two possible locations. But since I know both enemies and I know their possible locations, then I'm able to take the same exact route and the same timing each run, and I just look for those enemies in their respective areas if need be, and still follow the same path more or less. So I probably won't be speaking again for a while, because I think that pretty much covers the key points that you'll need to know as you watch this video. But I will pick back up later if I need to point anything specific out. Just be mindful of that and of the timing, as I mentioned, with enemy spawns, and as far as your speed going through the levels, if you want it to actually match up to my playthrough. I would suggest, if you're trying to follow along with this video, pausing each time you watch the video, and like actually do a hard pause of the game so that it keeps the enemies in their positions and you can see what happens next, and try to aim for the same timing as much as possible. It should, I mean, it's going to take you some practice. Obviously, it took me several, I think 14 or 15 attempts before I got my first mine level completion. But once you get the feel for the game and you learn the enemy's positions and whatnot, then the timing comes pretty easy, because most of these missions are just rushing through on a very specific path. I will see you later in the video.
See if there's some way to power up this old train. Okay, train's got power. Let's find the controls and see if it moves. Ignore the pain. Ain't dead. So keep moving.
William, do you read? If you are on 5th Avenue, the State Building should be near.
Hello, big boy. Come to test the old man's mettle.
Find a way to reach the top of the State Building and make contact with the resistance group. Look for elevators, stairs, anything. The radiation levels should be acceptable at the top of the building.
Your boy's on you. Every second. A glory.
Well, I thought it was going to be a while before I popped in again, but I forgot that I need to point out this spot in the video. This is actually the spot that Falcon told me about, so thanks for that, Falcon on True Achievements, you know who you are. Standing in this corner behind these boxes. Now, he mentioned holding the left shoulder button and leaning back, but I found that that's actually not necessary, and if anything, it can actually screw this part up, because when you're leaning back behind the box, you can't see the enemies coming. So what I like to do is I like to get up on top of the boxes and crouch to drop down behind them. So as you look at me right now, it may look like I'm standing, but I'm actually crouched. You just can't tell. And as long as you're crouched behind these boxes, you can actually look over the top of them, but the enemies don't have quite as good of a line of sight on you. So when they do shoot you, which they probably will get a shot off here or there, they won't melt you quite as quickly. So don't use the left shoulder to lean behind the box. It doesn't provide you any actual cover, and the enemies will still be shooting you. So just aim your crosshairs at the base of that pillar where the United States flag is, so that you can see to the right down the stairs and to the left in the cage, and just swing back and forth each time you see enemies approaching. But there's absolutely no need to use the cover mechanic on this spot. As long as you're quick and take the enemies out. It's very rare that you'll have enemies come from both directions at the same time. You will usually have just one direction or the other. And if you do, for some strange reason, have enemies coming up the stairs and from the cage, kill the ones from the cage first. Those are the most dangerous because they're on your level. They will get shots off on you a lot quicker, and they will do a lot more damage than the ones coming up to this up the stairs. Usually the guys on the stairs will actually try to come up onto the landing to the far side of the pillar and shoot you from the same area that the guys from the cage do. So just be mindful of that and just crouch behind those boxes, but don't use the lean function, and aim at the base of the pillar by the US flag, and just look left and right and kill enemies as they come. It's very, very easy to finish this part. Thank you, Falcon, for that strategy.
Jump in, Blasco.
Maybe this isn't bad.
What the?
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons. Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Hola, capitán.
Did you see the new keelhouse set built in the shooting range?
Pleasure, Captain Blazkowicz.
Your suit, the damp heat, the maddening itch. How did you endure it so gracefully? It's fitted so tight I struggle to breathe. Yet inside, Caroline, you left a vacuum too great to fill.
Now do me a favor, before you die, go...
Well, Caroline, I fucked up and told her. Turns out, the hurt I tried to spare was mine, not hers.
This submarine creeps me the hell out. He doesn't come.
Right. Let's see if this bird is ready to fly like Grace asked me to. Put everything else out of your mind. Chopper's fat and sassy. Should let Grace know.
Feels like I can feel the dust popping out my throat.
What's going on?
Okay, Blazkowicz, look for Papa Joe's All-American Diner. Meet Super Special inside the restaurant. Do not break cover.
Is this all they have?
Papa Joe's All-American Diner. My kind of dive.
Was hast du heute gelernt, Peter?
I don't know. Stuff?
Practice your German, dear. You will need it.
Sir, please.
Was
have a seat at the counter. I'll be right with you. Ma'am, what'll it be? We're about to close, unfortunately.
It's to go. We'll be quick. Let's see. I'll have the...
Blazkowicz, Special knows you're coming to attack the Obercommando, but he has no idea you bringing a damn atom bomb. You gotta break him the news.
Hello? Hello?
Come on, Peter, let's go someplace else.
But Mom, we don't have any buts.
Oh! Bitteschön.
Danke.
A good day, man.
You, 1 strawberry milkshake, please. Oh, I hope you don't have a fire back there to put out. If so, I'll come back another time.
I'm sure the fire can wait, Commandant. 1 strawberry milkshake coming right up.
Fireman, I recognize your face. Very Aryan face it is too. Are you at a Station 1?
There you go, Commandant.
Oh, vielen Dank. Now you. Show me your identification papers. Please. Blazkowicz, shut the fucking front door! Before any more
Keep going down that tunnel, and you'll end up at the Area 52 cargo train loading depot. Fastest way to Area 52 will be to hitch a ride on one of those cargo trains.
Caroline, you still copy? You think they can see I'm fading? Without your wings, I would fall. Oh, what the hell? They got rocket trains now. Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Ich habe kein Verständnis für Terroristen. Wie können sie Gewalt gegen uns gutheißen, nur weil wir anderer Ansicht sind?
Die sind halt gewalttätig, Karl.
Denen fehlt die moralische Richtschnur. Wir sind doch auch Menschen. Gewalt führt nur zu noch mehr Gewalt.
Das stimmt, Karl. Gewalt ist niemals in Ordnung. Niemals.
Was für eine Gesellschaft wäre das, wenn ich jemanden töten würde, der meine Ansicht nicht teilt?
Kriegsgebiet, Karl.
Was? Einer? Zum Kosten. Übrigens hast du dich für New Orleans beworben.
Ja.
In jedem Fall.
Vielleicht sind wir in einer Todesschwadron.
Wir arbeiten doch gut zusammen.
Ja. Hallo? Seltsam.
All right, we're on the move. Gotta head up front and grab the controls.
Was ist?
Hä?
Komisch.
Wer Bord da?
Gut.
Wer Bord?
Hier ist nichts. Heil Hitler.
Ist es hier vielleicht zu warm für Sie?
Alles klar?
Was?
So, you want the Nazis to leave the warhead alone once you planted it, right? Well, what you gotta do is place it in the Obercommando's nuclear reactor. That way the Nazis won't be able to track its radiation signature. They won't find it, they won't disarm it.
In 2 Monaten. Was? Schwer zu erklären. Warst du mal im All? Nur auf dem Ort.
Oberkommandos bereit machen für sofortige Evakuierung. Halten Sie Ihre Papiere bereit und melden Sie sich bei Ihrem Rettungsschiff. Der Start erfolgt umgehend.
Time to get the hell out of Dodge. Keep running, Nazis.
Mitglieder des Oberkommandos bereit machen für sofortige Evakuierung. Halten Sie Ihre Papiere bereit und melden Sie sich bei Ihrem Rettungsschiff. Der Start erfolgt umgehend.
Where are you all going?
Mitglieder des Oberkommandos bereit machen für sofortige Evakuierung. Halten Sie Ihre Papiere bereit und melden Sie sich bei Ihrem Rettungsschiff. Der Start erfolgt umgehend.
Remember you showed me the ring, Mama? For when I met someone special? Well, I did. And it'll look... I'll be in the grave rotting away, and still a better daddy than you. These claws. should have run home. To you, Anya.
Death, Mr. Blazkowicz! Nothing but swift, sheer death! Bailiff!
Hast du ihn irgendwo gesehen? Weißt du, wo er ist? Negativ! Kannst du ihn sehen? Ja!
Siehst du was? Negativ! Er ist weg. Wasser bleiben, Leute. Irgendwelche Spuren von dem Kerl? Nein! Oh nein, nicht gut. Jetzt hat er erwischt! Nein! Ja!
B! Hast du was gesehen? B! Billy! Terrorist and murderer! Surrender before the righteous tear off the Reich! Ich wechsle meine Position! Jawohl! Weg! Alle weiter suchen!
get his head chopped off? Mr. Blazkowicz, can you hear me? Okay, so listen to this. Some time ago, Caroline obtained this latest generation biologically engineered super soldier body from a Nazi scientific lab. Very, very impressive specimen. Angela, please show this to him.
Look, William, Seth is going to attach this to build a connection between your head and your new body.
Angela, please, Angela, please come and help me here. Now, these are very rare Nazi comfort equipment from super soldiers our fighters found in the field. None of them is working, but I have enough material to fix one contraption. You should decide which one you want. You can choose. Blink once for this one, blink twice for the one in the middle, blink 3 times for that over there.
Okay, Ingela, let's get to work. I will sedate you now.
See you soon.
Now, I have prepared the contraption you wanted. Put it on.
Yes, Mr. Yes! No! Experiment with the training course in alien...
Caroline, thank you. Take... back your wings. I don't need them anymore.
You know, it's remarkable to see you here standing.
Oh, cut it up there!
Blazkowicz, my friend! What a happy day! Welcome back to the land.
Texas. What in the name of ass-tripping fox has happened?
Well done, Max. Outstanding.
Sentimental, Blazko.
Should go see if Grace has a job for me. Put this new body to good use.
We are on the way
Mr. Black, I have a friend, Mr. Stubbs. He forgot to take brain medication, and now he's not in the head. So all the doctors refused to come out. He took since micro, using them everything.
Back off, Rotor! I know what you're after! You want my brain plan, but you can't have it! I need it for thinking thought! Don't you realize I need it for myself? No! No! Oh, no!
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Captain. I will take care of Mr. Stubbs.
Move fast, Blazkowicz. Radiation level is high down there.
Blazkowicz, find a way inside the nuclear bunker before the radiation levels, kill you.
Er ist tot! Wir durchsuchen den Rat!
The Nazis keep the stolen intel inside their command center. You gotta find your way in there.
Ich sehe Amerikaner nie Sport treiben. Was hältst du davon, Benno?
Wundert mich nicht. Das...
Komisch.
All right. Who's next?
Mein Onkel Erhard war vor dem Krieg geschäftlich hier. In Manhattan war vor der Zeit als atomare Einöle bestimmt mehr los. Wenn Onkel Erhard zu meiner sitzen hat,
ist er jetzt? Was ist?
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Interessant.
New Orleans dossier Grace wanted. Guess that's my cue. You Nazis born in a barn? You're letting the radiation in.
Achtung! Nördliche Dekontaminationskammer beschädigt. An alle Mitarbeiter legen Sie umgehend Ihr Atemgerät an. Ich wiederhole. Nördliche Dekontaminationskammer beschädigt. An alle Mitarbeiter legen Sie umgehend Ihre Atemgeräte an.
Blazkowicz, I'm ready to pick you up. Just get to higher ground and signal your location. Yes, Blazkowicz. I see you. Approaching now. Shit!
Sigrun got the Enigma terminal working again.
Oh, William, I wish we could spend some time alone, but...
Blazkowicz, I need you to make it to the other side of the Great Wall. Look for any kind of opening that will grant you passage to the inside of the wall.
Hey, Blazko, not seen a living civilian from up here since we arrived. On the other hand, there's an overabundance of Nazis. Hope you have better luck finding survivors. Fergus out.
Sagen Sie ihm, ich brauche diesen.
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Blazkowicz, head for the old American Bank building. That's where Horton and his group should be holed up. Find them. Persuade them to join our cause.
The American Bank. What's $1 worth these days?
Durchsucht weiter den Bereich! Ich wechsle die Position!
Big easy. Can't undo your tragedy. But I can punish the people responsible. Looks like I got a shortcut through this building. Looks like I powered up that overhead crane.
William, we are moving on from the tower now. Mines are disabled, and Fergus is scouting ahead. Just had a big fight with the Nazis. Barely made it. William? Don't know if this is normal, but I think the pregnancy is making me a little, excited. Oh God, is everyone listening in on this frequency?
Yes. Yes. Max sauce.
Sounds like someone's putting up a fight.
Take my hand!
Let's see what this puppy can do. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Was ist das für ein Geräusch?
Next stop, Lakeview District.
Bogged down by Nazis here. Foster's topsided it. Get on ya! What's the name of this fucking place? We're on the roof of the Lakeview apartment building. Think we can hold out for a wee bit, but these Nazis keep coming like torrential diarrhea.
Billy, we've met up with your people on the roof of the Lakeview apartment building. That ride of yours better get here soon, because we won't hold out much longer.
Hey, Conrad, you up and went on a tropical cruise with our boat? The Nazis are fucking killing us here! Jesus Christ, Grace, that was close. You're still a conrag, mind you, but you're the most lovable conrag I've ever laid eyes on.
Fergus, Anya, help everyone get on board the U-boat. The Nazis will regroup and attack. Hurry up. Blazkowicz, get your ass up on the Lakeview apartment building roof and climb on board the U-boat. We've spotted the Ausmerzer on the radar. It'll be here any minute. Haul ass!
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Blazkowicz, all of the evacuees are on board, but we can't leave. Props are stuck in the mud. We're stranded, and the Ausmerzer is incoming. If it gets here before we bail, we are fucked.
I say it's time to ready the nuclear cannon.
What are you talking about, Fergus?
Now that you're all here, I ask you to prepare yourselves. You must be off book for this audition, so be sure to memorize your lines before the producer gets here. He has a volatile disposition, so be careful.
Oh, so inclined.
Your agent got you on the short list for this?
Nah, man.
casting director saw me on a mystery show.
How am I supposed to remember this shit? I gotta write this down. What the hell did I write?
And you are...
You monster! What are you going to do to me?
I will rape and
So many German innocent lives you have killed, but the German race will rise again!
Shit.
I will
Die Worte waren richtig.
The floor is yours.
Brace yourself, Adolf. I'm leaving here with your secret Odin codes. Then we steal the Ausmerzer, take out General Angle, and show the American people what revolution looks like.
Wirklich? Ja. Wie viele waren es bei dir? Zählen Hinrichtungen auf? Na klar. Dann 8. Ich war auch mal in einem Feuergefecht. Keine Ahnung, von wem dann.
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapon.
So this is one of the key bits that I mentioned about being different than other runs. Most of the runs that I see on this first bit, they will actually just kill the first commander, kill the next 2 enemies silently so that they don't set off an alarm, and then they will sneak up into the first hallway where the first super soldat is patrolling and sneak past him and then sprint and do kind of a run for your life strategy to the end of this level. Personally, I don't think it's really worth it. If you see right here, the second commander is actually rushing me already, even though all the enemies aren't dead. The way that I've figured out how to make that happen relatively consistently is after I kill the first commander, and then I kill the first of the 2 enemies up here in the cafeteria silently with a headshot. What I do is I let the second enemy actually see me, and as he starts to set off the commander's alarm, before the circle is completely red, while it's still partially red and partially white, I will kill that second enemy. For whatever reason, and I'm not sure why, this has the effect of making that second commander rush me more often than not. And by doing so, it drastically reduces the number of enemies that I have to kill in this area before I can run to the level's exit. So while yes, it does take a few minutes longer than had I just stealthed my way forward, where I'm looking right now, you actually stealth across the hallway to the far side. You use your silenced pistol to kill one guy on your left, and then once you reach the big hall up that set of stairs ahead of me right now, there's a big like banquet hall up there. When you reach that hallway, that's when you actually start sprinting forward. You shoot one enemy on the right in the next hallway behind it, and then throw a grenade at the wall so that the dog chasing behind you dies. And from there, you just sprint, and run all the way to the level's exit. It's a consistent enough strategy. I've been able to pull it off several times on I Am Death Incarnate. But again, this late in the game, we're already... 2 hours almost, maybe an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes into the run. Well, probably 2 hours with cutscenes and everything. Anyway, it just seems unnecessary to risk ending a run if you're not actually like trying to go for some sort of world record or speed run or something like that. Ending a run just to save 3 or 4 minutes of fighting, to me, isn't really worth it. So I just take this strategy of just killing everything in this area. Now, my other video, I do believe I show the run for your life strategy. It's just the basic walkthrough on Bring 'em On difficulty. However, in that one, I'm relatively certain that the dog, I actually miss my grenade on the dog, and the dog tackles me from behind. Had I been playing on Mine Leben, that very well could have gotten me killed. So, again, just not really worth it to me. Even if the second commander doesn't rush you like he did for me, just sitting here and hunkering down in the cafeteria, moving out into the first tunnel, luring some enemies back, killing them, moving forward, lure a few more, kill them. make sure you pick off I think it's 3, possibly 4 of the super soldats. If the second commander doesn't rush you right away, I think you might have to kill a total of 4. It's either 3 or 4. At any rate, it may take a little longer. I mean, it could potentially take as much as 10 minutes to completely clear this area if you're being extremely careful and the second commander doesn't rush you and a lot of reinforcements come in. But again, 10 minutes to clear the area versus having to go through another 2 hours of the game if you fail your Mine Leben run. I think it's easier just to clear the area. And some people say it's really easy to die here. I don't actually think it is. I think this area is relatively painless if you kill everything, as long as you're careful and you work your way forward a little bit at a time and you don't try to rush. If you try to rush, yes, some stragglers can get in behind you and wreck your day, so you have to watch for that. But if you don't rush forward and you make sure to sweep and clear each hallway and all the side rooms and alcoves and nooks and crannies as you go forward, then it really isn't much chance of dying. You've got upgraded shotgun, you've got upgraded rifle, you're doing crazy damage, you're taking out enemies relatively quickly and easily with little ammo usage. It's pretty easy to kill everything here. So personally, I suggest it. Now, this run, even though I got the commander to rush me, I was probably more careful than I needed to be, but I didn't want to have to start over recording this video and editing it and everything, so I just took it a little bit more slow and steady than I probably otherwise needed to, because the times that I've gotten the commander to rush me early, I have rushed forward a little bit more aggressively and been pretty okay. Haven't had too much difficulty doing that, but I was just taking it slow and steady here to get this video done. So again, just kill everything if you want to get your Mine Leben video, or not video, but your Mine Leben run out of the way. If you want to get it over with, I wouldn't risk, unless you just create a save here on I Am Death Incarnate and just practice. But personally, I've even seen what maybe it's just in my mind, maybe it's mental, but it really feels to me like Mine Leben, sometimes things happen in Mine Leben that I've never ever died to on I Am Death Incarnate. And it's not like I'm nervous. I've done Mine Leben multiple times now, including 4 complete runs where I finished. So I don't think it's nervousness necessarily, but just some weird things happen on Mine Leben that I literally have never had happen to me on I Am Death Incarnate. So it's just better to be safe rather than sorry. There will be one other time that I'll pop in on Venus to point something out in the next area, but other than that, I think we're relatively done with the narration until the final level.
Transportkapsel bereit zum Einsteigen. Air feels heavy. Brutal heat. Like time to break into the facility, find the Obercommando, steal the Odin codes for General Engel's ship. Slick as a whistle.
Alright, so another slight difference here in this room. Most videos will just completely ignore these first 2 enemies. One guy distracts them with a pistol to lure him over to the side and then sneaks down into the crevice. Other people just wait till the timing is right and they're facing away and then sneak forward into the crevice. But where I just dropped in right there, that's the crevice I'm referring to. Personally, as long as you're good and don't miss your headshot there, it's just way easier and more consistent to just lean out from the boxes, headshot the first guy, headshot the second guy, and then immediately move forward down into the crevice. It doesn't really take any longer to do it that way, and I've found it far more consistent. If you do happen to set off an alarm, immediately get down into that crevice and go into the narrow crawl space that goes in between the two rooms, and then just watch for enemies out on the stairways above. Keep your distance from the opening at the end, whichever end is nearest to where the enemies are congregating. If you're not careful and you get too close to the hole, they will sometimes throw grenades down there. So if you set off an alarm, the backup plan is just to go down into that crevice and then into the crawl space that goes between the two rooms. And usually what I'll do is I'll stay closer to the commander's room, because that's usually where the enemies will congregate, and you've got a very good line of sight on that staircase that comes down, and then just kill enemies as they come out onto that staircase that leads down into the crevice. It's pretty easy. Takes a while. It's annoying, to say the least, to have to do that, but if you set off an alarm there, it's a lot better than dying trying to fight the enemies out inside the rooms.
Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
All right, this outer area coming up is the last real difference in the way that I do my Leben. On Venus, most people will show you a path where they use the battle walker and they climb up onto that little thin wall beside this robot that I'm about to take down. There's that high, thin wall to the left. They will climb up onto that, climb up onto the pipes, do some funky platforming, going across pipes and whatnot, and working their way up to the top of this outdoor area. And while that can, just like everything else, that can be very consistent if you practice it. Personally, again, I don't like the thought of accidentally missing one jump and falling to your death, because this area, if you fall from trying to climb up with the battle walker, if you fall in the wrong spot, you can actually fall off the map and you're dead. Like, you don't just fall and take fall damage, you fall and you die. And again, ending a Mine Leben run this late in the game would totally suck. This area is extremely easy to do very consistently and very quickly. Not as quick as climbing up with the battle walker, granted, but pretty darn quick. All you have to do is stealth take down one of the robots, wait for the big guy to come down. As soon as he's got his back to you, blast the other robot, blast the big guy, shoot the flyers that come down, shoot the third robot, and then from there, you'll see here in a moment, I will just go up a couple of levels until I see the commander spawn. And once the commander has spawned in, I will take out one of my rifles with the Marksman scope, and I will just snipe the commander from the walkway that I'm at. There's an enemy that looks like he's looking in your direction on the walkway above, but you don't have to worry. As long as you stand where I stand, which is about the midway point of the portion of the walkthrough that goes crosswise facing him, as long as you stand there and wait for the commander to cross over where you can see him, you don't have to worry. None of the enemies are going to spot you before the commander's dead. Now, I don't know what happens with their pathing after that, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you get your shot off on the commander, you see right now he's about 34 meters ahead, and I think I usually take my shot when he's about 18 meters. And you can't really make him out right now, but as he comes down the walkway above, you will be able to make out his head between the railings. So once he reaches about 17, 18 meters, it's very easy to just pop him in the head with that rifle right there. Actually, I did that one a little early. He was 21 meters when I shot him. I've waited till he was as close as 18 meters in the past. But once he's dead, all that's left, there are, I think, 3 enemies right nearby, and then there's a 4th one further away that starts to work his way towards you as you're fighting these other guys. So once you snipe that commander, you've got 4 little dudes to worry about. Pretty darn easy. And then you equip your dual rifles as you approach the commander's body so that when the robot dog pops out, you can just mow it down. But not hard at all to do. Following that strategy, as long as you kill that commander with one shot like I did, then you shouldn't have any difficulty. If for some reason you miss the headshot, tilt your aim down just a tiny, just like a fraction, and start unloading with your rifle and hope that your body shots hit that commander. If they don't, then you're going to have to just retreat down the stairs and just very methodically clear the area of all the reinforcements. But just make a save file on I Am Death Incarnate or one of the lower difficulties, and focus on where that commander walks and shooting him in the head as he reaches that point where I shot him. It's very, very easy to do. The rifle is extremely accurate at distance. As long as you're just firing single shot mode, you will hit his head every time as long as your shot is lined up correctly. From there, working your way through this area just involves going into this next section, shooting a few flyers, shooting one robot that comes down, and then dealing with the remaining 2 heavies and 1 regular enemy. Super soldats, I believe they're called. I always call them heavy enemies. I think they're technically called super soldats. But anyway, this second half of this area is super, super easy to finish. You can, if you really want to. I go pretty aggressive here and push forward and use my shotgun to take down the heavy dudes. But you can just hang out in this doorway here and just lean against the wall and wait. And 99% of the time, they will slowly make their way down to you. Occasionally, I've had the second of the 2 heavies up top get stuck by the boxes up there, and then I have to go up and look for him. But usually, if you're sitting in that doorway, they will eventually make their way down to you, so you don't have to risk coming out into the open and getting blasted, because those diesel heavy weapons that fire the flaming explosives, those are pretty deadly, and if you're not quick on the draw and staggering them with your rifle and your shotgun, they can and will take you out very quickly. But that being said, like I said, this area is extremely easy to do consistently as long as you follow the same path that I did and as long as you take out that commander on that first portion of the outside area. After that, it's child's play. Anybody could do it. Even if you have to just take your time and take cover and take enemies out slowly, it's not hard to do.
I call this a howling hellscape. That view is prettier than a pie supper. I'm burning up. I'm burning up. Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Ist da jemand?
Welcome to the Obercommando. Population, shitload of assholes. You got my Odin codes, assholes.
Happy birthday, William. Fergus?
Fergus.
Fergus!
Hey, wake
Can
up.
you hear me?
Hey.
Fergus, it's Anya.
Damn it, Fergus. Why you always gotta be losing your arm?
Okay, Max. Come. On me. Max, no sad face today. Come. Let's play. Do you not think this is take the easy way out? Do you not think I've been there too? To see my friends murdered in front of me. would it be to give in and crawl into the dark hole in my mind and stay there till life means nothing?
Blazkowicz, let me tell you about this Uber commander. His real name is Daniel Eckstein, but everyone knows him as the Butcher of Boston. A real mass murderer. Sadistic son of a bitch. Find his ass and deliver some justice for the people of Boston. Grace out.
Was ist das für ein...
Nice. Should get to work on upgrading my weapons.
Okay. Captain, have you time to help out? Kiitos, Captain Blazkowicz. Stay on the platform. Grace told me to organize the I really don't. Ihana, Captain Blazkowicz. Now I just need to figure out how to get this place organized. Thank you for your help, Captain. Stay there until life means nothing. Really? Right there. What am I going to do? To keep myself from breaking? To pull myself up? To block the pictures out? When I see your son... Nein, Herr Blazkowicz. I know not where this arm is you seek.
Sorry, buddy. Ain't seen Fergus's arm anywhere.
Fergus's arm is gone? I think the professor mentioned something about it. Mr. Blazkowicz? Haven't seen Fergus's arm guy. Just looking for him. I heard you were looking for Fergus's arm.
How's it going?
You should speak to Paris Jack. Didn't even know man talk.
Damn it, Fergus. Why you always gotta be losing your arm?
Okay, here we go.
About a cup of fine whiskey.
Alright, I just want to point out one potential glitch that can ruin your run at the beginning of this mission. I did point it out on my regular walkthrough video, but I want to point it out here as well because it did happen to me on one of my Mine 11 runs, and I would hate for it to happen to someone else. Right here at the beginning of the mission, Anya will tell you that she will follow your lead, and there's a button on the wall that you can press to open the door. Do not go up into the catwalk up above until you open this door. There's an area right behind where I'm standing right now where you can use your battle walkers to climb up into up into the rafters up above and go through a little hole in the wall to get into this room where the enemies are. It is actually possible to go into that room and kill the enemies before you open that door. However, if you do that, if you kill all the enemies in the room and there's no one left, when you open the door, as far as I can tell, and I've tested it a couple times, it seems like when you open the door, the game is supposed to run a script telling the Anya character that when all the enemies are dead to move into the room. But if all the enemies are dead, when the door opens, that script does not run properly, and therefore she will just sit there and she will never enter the room, which means on line 11, since you can't reload a checkpoint, your run is over and you have to start over even though you didn't die. So, when you start this mission, make sure you open that door. Now, I honestly don't go up into those rafters much anymore just because I don't like risking it. I don't know if there's another factor involved in causing that glitch. But I will say that when you open the door, sometimes the enemies will throw grenades at you, and it is a way to retreat if you run back into the area behind you when you're facing that door with Anya. If you run back into that area behind you and use your battle walkers to climb up into those rafters, if you see an enemy throw a grenade, usually that's not the only one that's going to get thrown. Once they start throwing them, they get grenade happy. So if you see a grenade come and it doesn't kill you, if you see it quick enough and you can run away or throw it back, I would say just go ahead and go up into the rafters. As long as you've got the door open, you should be okay. I can't make any promises, but I think once the door's open, then the script runs properly and you don't have anything to worry about. Just be mindful of that. Open the door before you do anything else.
Hey, alles in Ordnung? Ja.
H-A-L-L-A.
Well done, William. The port defense systems are offline. Get back here as soon as possible. I think I found a way to reach our other objectives. William, I need some help here. Hurry, please.
William, I'm in here. William, jump into the transport pod there on the other side. I've reprogrammed these to take us to the upper parts of the ship. We can reach the other Odin control centers from up there.
Hold on. I love you, William. It's on top of you!
William! I'm up here! I'm glad you're okay. Listen, destroy the big fan over there.
William, there's another shaft on the other side. You should be able to reach the mutant control center from there. I need you to go there and shut down the starboard defense system. I'll keep making my way to the Odin main control center. William, now that the starboard defense system is shut down, you can go back out to the troop deployment hall and climb up the robotic deployment arm. I'm outside the Odin main control center. Lots of activity in this place. Get here as fast as you can.
Must be the Odin main control center. I'm on my way, Anya.
Good to hear you getting close, William.
Alright, this is where I nearly died twice. Not on this first little portion here with the first robot dog, but on the second portion when the second robot dog comes right now. This took me down to 14 health, and I actually had no armor. I had 14 health and I had 0 armor. I just immediately grabbed a pack of armor next to me when the blast from that robot dog hit me. The reason that I almost died is because I was stupid. There are 2 robot dogs here and 1 regular dog. You saw me earlier deal with the first robot dog with a charged laser blast. However, that second one, because you're going to come up there when all the other enemies are already milling around, you're not going to be able to just sit there with a charged laser blast and wait for the dog to appear and blast it. So, instead of being a bonehead like I was there, when you see that second robot dog, just immediately turn around and run back. And by that I mean drop back down that ladder that leads up to that area. So drop down the ladder, come back down to this lower area where I'm at right now, pick up your laser, aim over to the right to the top of the ladder, which is where I'm looking right there. I looked at it for a split second there because I had the video sped up. But you can aim over to the right at the top of the ladder. I actually killed the regular dog at the top of that ladder earlier with a laser. So just be careful. When you see that second robot dog, run away, drop down, go to the safety of your laser, shoot the dog at the top of the ladder, because they will, both of the robot dogs and the regular dog, for whatever reason, they always go to the top of that ladder and just stand there waiting for you to climb up. So it's pretty easy to snipe it from below with that laser. Make sure you take the path underneath the raised portion in the middle of that lower area so that enemies don't shoot you from above when you're heading over to that laser. But don't be stupid like I was and nearly die to the second robot dog just because you stay up there rather than retreating and using the laser down below. The other time I almost died, you already saw before, was where I was fighting that large mech enemy from the crawl space, and I heard the enemy make his sound like he was going to fire, and rather than poking my head out and retreating immediately so that he would blast the wall while I was covered in the next room and safe, I decided to just poke my head out and shoot him because I knew that I only needed one more shot to kill him. What I didn't plan on was getting blasted with splash damage from his rockets, which darn near killed me as well. So again, don't be stupid. Don't do what I did. When you're dealing with that large guy, do what I did on the first couple of shots, where I wait until right after he does a blast and then I poke out and fire a charged laser shot and then immediately duck for cover. Don't go out there when he's already got a shot ready and waiting for you so that you get blasted in the face like I did. I was, I think, at like 180 health, and I can't remember how much armor, maybe full armor, and I dropped down to something like 30 or 40 health from 180, so I almost died. Maybe even, I think I might have gone as low as 20. I can't remember now. But at any rate, I was a centimeter closer to any of those explosions and I probably would have been dead. And again, I think my perk for getting the environmental kills actually saved me there, because that explosive damage was just very marginally reduced and it was just enough to keep me alive. So luckily I survived, but both of those deaths would have been completely avoidable just by being safe and cautious rather than being aggressive. Now, the final thing I will mention is this is supposed to be the safe spot. What's supposed to happen in this area, which you've already seen me do, is you run up with dual shotguns, go behind the first 2 hatches, in between them, kill the first 2 heavies that pop out, immediately turn around, kill 2 enemies that are always off to the right, in between the first and second sets of super soldats. Then you go back and you go in between the second set of hatches and you kill the second 2 super soldats, and then you stay in between that second set of hatches, turn around and kill the third set of super soldats. From there, at that point, what you're supposed to do, and what I thought I did here, is you're supposed to kill between 4 and 6 enemies that are looking for you. If you don't kill them, then they will follow you and they will know that you're hiding in this corner, and they will start throwing grenades in here, and they will also apparently tell all their friends that are spawning in to throw grenades in here as well. So I think I killed 5 enemies after the 6 super soldats, but apparently I must have left one, or this was just one of those times where the game decided to be a little bit different to keep me on my toes. A grenade just got thrown at me right there, so I just immediately sprinted out and down into this walkway, and then I will go back up into that room to my hiding spot. in a few minutes. And I think I have to come down here once or twice more, because once the grenade spam starts, it's really not going to ever stop until the enemy stops spawning. So luckily I was able to think on the fly or adjust on the fly, I should say, and use the tunnels to my advantage. But those tunnels can be very dangerous because the enemies can come in from any of the four corners. And if an enemy catches you off guard, which I actually do get hit a few times when I'm in there, they can kill you pretty darn quickly. Especially the shotgun guys are extremely dangerous. That being said, if you follow the strategy that I did, what you want to do is after you kill the first two super soldats, the two enemies to the right, and then the second set of super soldats and the third set of super soldats, what you want to do at that point is have your dual shotguns at the ready, and you want to look to the right where those two enemies were between the first and second sets, and you want to look along that walkway and then look back up toward the middle to find the other enemies that are rushing around looking for you. As long as you kill, sometimes you can kill as few as 4 of them, and then you can take cover in that room and you won't ever get grenades thrown at you. Other times it seems like you have to kill 6. I think it just really depends on their positioning and where they happen to be when you go into that room. So I almost died to the big guy's blast there. At this point, like I said, I'm just adjusting on the fly because the plan kind of went south. I nearly died there, went down to 45 health and no armor. But if you want to see how this strategy is supposed to work, the end of my other video, that's just the regular walkthrough video on Bring 'em On difficulty, it shows the way this fight is supposed to go, and the way my other 3 Mine Leben completions, all 3 of them went the exact same way, where I just sat in that room and just waited and waited and waited and waited until all the enemies stopped spawning, and I was just sniping them down the walkway. It was super easy, wasn't taking any damage, wasn't having to run around like a maniac like I am now. And it has nothing to do with the difficulty, that's what I will say. A lot of people think that the enemies react differently on Bring 'em On or versus Mine Leben or whatnot. That's not the case. Really, the only difference on Mine Leben is you take more damage and you can't die. But as far as like where the enemies go, how they react, what their pathing is, all of that, that's all pretty much the same. The enemies don't act any differently on the lower difficulties. They just do less damage to you. So if you watch how this fight's supposed to go on my Bring 'em On difficulty walkthrough video, you will see how it should play out even on Mine Leben and I Am Death Incarnate. And honestly, it's very consistent. I've done this battle. I practiced it several times on I Am Death Incarnate, and then I did 3 Mine Leben runs where it went perfectly, and then this one just went south for whatever reason. So I would say I probably did a good 7 or 8, maybe even 9 runs where it went perfect, and then this one just happened to go a little screwy on me. But I didn't want to start all the way over again and record a whole new video just to show this fight how it's supposed to be. So just watch my other video for the final fight if you want to see how it's supposed to play out. Or, you know, this isn't a bad thing. You can watch this video and say, okay, well, if the shit hits the fan and I start getting grenades thrown into this room and I can't just hang out here the whole time, then I can run into those tunnels and maybe make the best of a bad situation and complete it like I'm doing here. So good luck. I hope this video helps a few people. I want to thank Falcon on True Achievements. I didn't really watch much of Creeper's video. I tried to watch his and I tried to watch a couple other speedrun videos. But for whatever reason, I'm not quite sure why, I just found Falcon's video just more to my liking. I don't know if it was just the smoothness or the way he talked. I'm not really sure. But I appreciate Falcon's video greatly. It helped me a lot. I also want to give a shout out to the other guy on True Achievements, and I'm very sorry I don't remember your name, but I will include it in the video description. Actually, you know what? I will add a comment after this one's over. Thank you for your solution as well. It helped me. So I'm going to stop this narration for a second so I can get his name. All right, so I just checked. His name is Flippy Flipperson. He is the 3rd solution poster on True Achievements. And his strategy for this final boss fight is the exact way that I did it, and it worked perfectly for me every other time that I did this fight except for this run. So I think he said in his video he had like a 90% success rate with it, and I would have to agree with that. I think it's probably 90% of the time that it works relatively smoothly. and just for whatever reason, the game decided to throw me a curveball the one time that I'm recording the run for the walkthrough. But thanks, Flippy Flipperson. Your method was great, helped me a lot, and I just had to kind of ad-lib a little bit on this run. Anyway, I hope, like I said before, I hope this video helps people. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, but the way I feel, the more runs out there that you see, the more speed runs and regular runs and achievement hunters doing it and people doing different things and playing different ways and using different weapons or whatnot. There weren't a lot of differences between my run and Falcon's. I would say maybe like 5 really distinct spots, give or take, that I did things a little differently. But overall, I think finishing the game in roughly the same amount of time, even though I did a couple of areas much slower, I think that shows that this is a very safe and very consistent path and method and strategies through the course of the game to get this achievement done for anyone that might still be struggling with it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this video helps you. Sincerely, have yourselves a wonderful day.
One of the biggest names we've ever had on this needs to happen up close. For you, Caroline. General Engel! Yeah! Alright! Thank you! General Engel! You're too kind!
What the hell?
You're dead!
Jesus fucking
I
Christ!
suffocated from your shoulders!
Oh!
I killed you!
Lady, is that the best you got? Your best won't do. You're among wolves now. These are our words.
Oh, yeah, there, oh, Lord, look at you. This stuff in your face, full of bright words as you're sitting in front of your Nazi television.